Welcome, Knicks Nation, to another edition of Knicks Dreams. It's your boy, The Dream. Uh, we back in the building to talk about what happened last game against Toronto, and as always, to look forward to what's going ahead with Indiana tonight. As always, we got our boy H2O in the building to help us break down the game. And at this time, I'm just gonna go underhand, left hand pass straight to you. Go ahead, take it away.
Thank you, and a good evening, everyone. As you can see, in our last edition, I was honoring our um, phenom R.J. Barrett, with one of his T-shirts, but I went to the game and I found another one, so I'm giving him two jerseys today.
Two jerseys, okay.
Two jerseys, yes.
Two
He has
jerseys.
been the most consistent player
Uh-huh.
this season. I'm going to put it on the all the what is it? 5 games that they play so far, and especially the last three
Yeah.
at the Bulls, Pelicans, and at home against Toronto. Okay, and that's all I want to say about before we get started with everything else that we're going to have to discuss today. I was at the game. It looked good for a while, and then it got kind of uh, ugly, and then it got late. It got late early in the third quarter. Take it away, Dream.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, a lot of this game has to be, we talked about it before the game actually started, that this could be a trouble game for them. A lot of people aren't aware or used to seeing, I guess, Toronto's, style of play. They're a scrappy, tough group. I think they're on a mission to correct a little bit what they went through last year. They have their own bar that they're chasing because they won a championship not too long ago. So they're just chasing themselves basically, to trying to create the best team that they can create. They have some young players that obviously, some already making a name, some still trying to make a name in the league, and and some coming from other teams. So namely like Gary Trent and stuff like that. He was one of the top leaders, I think fourth in steals. He moved up to third after yesterday's or the other day's game, I should say. But he's coming into the game as a person who's going to take advantage of you if you're a little loose with the ball. And as a whole, I think they came in and basically kind of encompassed that mindset that he comes in with, and it seemed like kept taking the ball away from us, to the tone of basically 12 steals. Not just turnovers that we created, but they actually taking the ball away from us, and then those 12 steals basically turning into, I think this is crazy to even see, 23 extra field goal attempts is what that turned into. The fact that we took the ball away so we put ourselves in a massive hole just in general. That 3-point shooting is not going to take us out of. So aside from that, we basically broke even with shooting threes. It felt like they made a bunch of threes, but they made 14. We made 16, which is closer to our average than theirs because they usually just making about 10 games. So we allowed them to steal the ball from us, allowed them to shoot more threes than they're used to and make more threes than they're used to. And on top of that, we gave the ball to them 5 extra times than the 12 steals that they took. So we had 17 turnovers. They had 9. And basically they came in and punked us. Basically this was supposed to be, the concrete jungle that they were coming to. But those Raptors came in and gave us a little bit of concrete humble. And that's what we're home with. A little bit of humble, right? We thought we were the big bad boys in the block. We're trying to make a name for ourselves to be that. And they came and showed us that if you take teams lightly, and that's what we've been doing the last couple games. We've been, quarter to half to end of game, basically letting teams back in. And that's what we did in the beginning of this game. We had a nice lead on them. Then we got to halftime. They had slowly started bringing it back. And this was the team. This wasn't the end of the game. This was halftime. And they were marching, boy. And if we had one more quarter in each of those other games, we might be looking at a different overall record for ourselves. That wouldn't look too good because a lot of those teams were chasing us down in the end, and we just happened to hold on to those leads. But that being said, I'll leave a little bit of meat on the bone. Take it away.
Okay, thanks a lot. You mentioned the fact that we shot the 3-point field goal better than they did, and that's absolutely true. But They did better at the line, and like you said, they had those steals, and
Yeah.
those some of them turned into 3 point, and some of them turned into 2 points. However, um, what I think is missing right now is that they are trying to transition into an offensive team, and they leaving the defensive mindset that they used to come into games with last year. They are kind of like relaxing a little too much with that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
they're not quite there yet. And the problem is not that they're doing this purposely, but Fournier and Kemba Walker are not. I mean, not that. I know Bullock was a defensive player, but Fournier is not as strong defensively as Bullock was. He makes it up in offense, but in this game, he didn't even get enough game time to. Well, he ended up with 12 points, but he got the ball stolen from him, and he didn't even chase the guy down.
Yeah.
And with like I was looking at earlier today, and I was hearing a conversation in one of these shows, and it was around the 3-minute mark, 3.5-minute mark. We were up by 15 points. 15 points is a good lead that if we go back and forth, we could still hold on to by the end of the half. Then they started the momentum started shifting towards them. Randall, I think, gave it up, took a bad shot and gave it up 3 other times. So 4 times in a row, he got the ball at the top of the key and did nothing with it. Okay, he got 22 points for the entire game. Let me see. Yes, 22. 18 of those was in the first quarter. And I was with Miguel, and I was saying, yo, look what he's doing. And all he could tell me was, yeah, but he got 18 points. He got 18 points. I'm like, yeah, he got 18 points. It's still early in the game. If you're going to have those type of turnovers. In the second half, I think they sat him down, and he wasn't even joining the huddle. He was away from everyone else. And I'm seeing his demeanor as if like he feels like other guys are stepping up, or they're giving other guys opportunities. And I don't know whether he's upset at that or upset at himself for not being, playing harder or playing with more intensity. But, he was getting beat all night by that kid, Anunoby. Anunoby was making him look like he was the young man, and Anunoby was the all-pro, the all-star, the most improved player in the league. And I don't know whether that has something to do with Randall's attitude towards the end of the game, but it was sad to see. Bill Stradamus, welcome, Esquire, welcome. How you doing? Love the look.
I'm in the office, so
Awesome. We're at the point where we're just discussing the last game, and we're breaking down where it went south for us. And I was just saying that with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, we were up 50-35. Wow. I think it even went to 52-35. And all of a sudden, we started giving the ball away, or they started stealing it from us. But, however it happened, we started just fumbling and bumbling, as all Clyde Frazier would say. Okay? And we gave it away. Same way that we were fumbling and bumbling at the end of the Celtic game, it was the same look, And I got to give it to Toronto. They play strong defense, especially in the second half. They came out with some energy, And before you knew it, they were up 15. They scored 38 points in the third quarter. Where was our defense then? And it all started, like I said, in that second quarter. Towards the end, we were up by 15, and then all of a sudden, they were only down by about 3 or 4. I think it was 57-54, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the half. So they shaved 12 points in those last 3 minutes. And after that, it was like they were punching us in the mouth, man. Every time, you know. And one of the things that I heard somebody say, I'm not sure if it was one of the shows, and I'm not sure if it was Bibbs that said it, you got to own your space. You got to own your space. When people playing up on you, man, you got to be able to push them back out. You can't allow them to just push you. We were on our heels for the whole second half. Yeah. And then it was trying to catch up. Yeah. And that's not the team that we need to be. And trying to outscore people by shooting threes, nah, we got to outscore them by defense and by playing harder than they are. Take it away, Abdul.
Yeah, well, thank you guys, and salute. But I summed up the whole game as us getting out of our actually playing differently. Our agenda should be defense first. And it's not, it hasn't been that. It's been 3-pointers first.
Right.
And then once the 3-pointers stopped dropping, it was like, you know, it was like, what are we doing? I have to put, you know, I won't put that on coaching, but that's a collective effort right there. Firstly, Toronto, they came in, they outplayed us. They out-hustled us. They beat us to every loose ball. They outran us. They just made it difficult. They were in the passing lanes. They were taking the ball from our guards, and they just made it very difficult all night.
Yeah.
But the fact that we came out blistering at the 3-point line in that first quarter, I think we had 9 3-pointers in the first quarter.
The first 3 shots or 4 shots were all 3-pointers.
Like nine 3-pointers. Then they stopped dropping, and then it was like we forgot how to play defense. We totally forgot how to play defense. And as you stated, then Toronto comes back. So it was like almost like a 30-point turnaround. They were down by like 15 to 17, and then at some point, and I want to say the third quarter, they're up by 15. So that's like a 30-point turnaround. Yeah. And then we're clawing and scratching and try to stay in the game, basically. And we were never able to get back into it because the threes stopped falling and we stopped doing the other things that had gotten us the lead. It wasn't just the threes. We were playing, it was the 3 and the D that got us the 15-point lead. In
other words, no threes and no D.
Right. And then it was like once the 3 stopped falling, it was it. That was it.
When you miss 3-pointers, everybody's standing flat.
Yep.
And long rebounds and runouts for the other team.
Long rebounds and
runouts for the other team. And they were out hustling us and out fighting us for the second shots opportunities, man. They were killing us.
They killed us.
Yeah. 13-7 offensive rebounding.
Wow.
And then Anunoby was Carmelo Anthony, whoever. I don't know. He just turned into an all-star forward. And it was nothing. Yeah. Well, he looked even better than Siakam.
He turned into Jaylen Brown overnight.
Yeah.
He looked like Jaylen Brown in the first game.
Different player. He played like an all-star.
Yeah.
And then Tibbs tried to play that small ball, and Randall, you know, he couldn't keep up with their bigs. Seemingly, that's what it seemed like. And they seemed like they played as if they had played the night before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they played very lethargic and with no sense of urgency or purpose or anything. So I'll keep it brief right there, and I'll throw the no look up to the Dream.
Well, I appreciate that no look, and you know what? I just Cedric Saballo this since you gave me the no look and no look the jam too. So we talked about it. possessions after possessions. All these things mattered. By the end of the game, they shot 23 more field goals than we did. I don't even think we gave ourselves a shot in that game. It looked like in the beginning we did, but once halftime hit, it was all downhill from there. Like we talked about it, they're 13 offensive rebounds to our 7, so they're shooting threes. They're making more threes than they normally make. They're hustling harder than they think. They stole the ball from us twice over, right? Like 2-1, almost 3-1, and on top of that, all those rebounds and steals and turnovers are turning directly into fast break points because they trumped us 21-3. Now, we had been making strides this year in the fast break points department, and I was kind of proud of it the first couple of games, but now we're starting to retract back to the norm, or where we normally were last year. I thought we would be in the 10, 15-point range. That would be nice. We got into the 20s a couple times, but ultimately it started and ended with the starting 5. Our starting 5 actually scored more than they averaged this year. They averaging about 76, 77. We dropped 82. But we gave up 96. That's crazy. 96. This kid, Anunoby, doubled his season average. And on top of all of that, they didn't even have their best player, even though he's a rookie. Scotty Barnes is their best overall player as far as scoring, rebounding, and passing. He's that glue guy for them. He's kind of like their Draymond Green. So, imagine if he would have played, so I figured with him out, I went into the game talking about Toronto was going to beat the Knicks by a couple of points, 112-108. And then by the end, they had convinced me because Scotty Barnes is going to be out. I flipped it around, 112-108, that the Knicks would win. But it ended up being Toronto ended up beating them to 113 to whatever, 104 or something. So, I guess I should have just followed my gut. But I didn't think they would step up even more with this other kid being out. And so, that's, I guess, a little bit attributed to our defense, like we keep saying. And the only hope as far as that goes is that at some point we're going to get Noel back and maybe he'll help anchor it. But honestly, our second unit needs to get up off the mat and get going this season. They're playing with the other teams, if not a couple points below the other teams, where last year we were blowing the other team out by 10 to 15 points, bench to bench matchup. And then we allowed our starters to play defensively. And then, we would struggle to find the points, but our bench was giving us the points. And so everybody on the team is making adjustments. Randall's making adjustments to the new shooting style, and so is the bench. And they need to, come around sooner than later. I'll say that. That being said, through the legs, cross-court pass, H2O, take it away.
Just to follow up on what you're saying about the bench. In the wins that we've had, and that's a shame that our losses all have come up at home, and I want to say before I get too deep into them, or get too hard on our team, we're still talking about a 5-2 team. So in other words, we've won most of our games. We're not 4-3. And we're not 5 and or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're not, but our losses have been winnable games.
Yes.
And the only reason we lost those games was because we didn't bring that intensity, that defensive intensity, as you said, Esquire, and as you said, Dream, our bench did not come through. Our second unit in this last game looked totally out of sync. There was no runouts. There were no highlights. Obi was giving the ball away. Quickly was throwing the ball away. He got a couple of assists. I think he got 5 assists, which was beautiful. But he only made 1 of his 4 or 5 threes that he attempted. So from the bench, I got 4 from Rose, 7 from Quickly, 5 from Burks, 6 from Toppin. That's not gonna cut it.
No,
I need at least 14 to 18 from Rose, and 8 to 12 between Burks and Toppin. And even Quickly can give me 8 or 10 points. And that's the difference in the game. Our starting 5, they getting theirs. Whether it's Randall one night or whether it's Kemba the other night, or whether it's Fournier the other night, or whether it's Barrett the other night, somebody's going to get close to 30, and the rest of us are going to get between 18 and 25, or 15 and 25, and that's fine, But I need those extra energy points from the bench, because what happens is you see the bench doing, you're going to be like, yo, when I get in there, man, I'm going to do the same thing, But if you're sulking in the bench when, nobody else is doing nothing and, you ain't doing nothing, U-Haul, okay? See, U-Haul don't need to carry us. He can shed that name. He doesn't need to carry us. And I don't know where he got a little something internally going on, because my son is showing out. What does he want? What does he want, man? He doesn't want him to be. He doesn't want to be the face of the Knicks, maybe. But, his boy's helping him out.
Yeah.
He's coming in there helping you out. You get your 25, and I'll get my 25, and let's do it. But in the last two games, my man is outscoring him and outplaying him. Okay? And he did good, but, he was a little bit, I don't know. He wasn't into it. I mean, he got 22 points, 5 assists, 9 rebounds. That's a damn good line. But he was sulking.
It was something wrong with him. And I don't know, did you see the post-game, his interview? He was kind of weird.
I heard that he was monotone.
Yeah, he was weird, very weird. He was like talking, like he was a ventriloquist guy.
Oh, right.
He was talking without moving his mouth.
Oh, okay.
It was real weird, and you could see he was visibly upset. However, RJ said, listen, they flat out played better than us. They played harder than us, and they got it done. We need to come with more effort. I'm paraphrasing, but RJ blamed it on the team. He was saying that they were outworked.
We have to defend the home court.
And we have to defend the home court. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said.
I heard that. I heard about that.
Yeah.
I was trying to look for it myself, but I couldn't find it. But I heard that that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It was low energy, and Barry said, this is what we got to do, man. So he's taking on like a leadership role.
Right.
Even in the post-game interview.
Yeah. And that's what Wally and Petro and what's the young lady's name? That's what they said as well. They was
Monica McNutt.
Monica McNutt, yeah. They all stated, that he was showing leadership qualities. After a loss, putting the blame on where it needs to be at, and saying we have to do better.
Okay.
That's all you can ask for. So you can ask for. And I know I cut you off. I'm sorry, but is it me or did Gary Trent Jr. look like he was playing? He was like a lockdown.
Man. He looked like Kyrie. He looked like Kyrie Irving in his best days.
You mean Kawhi Leonard?
Oh, Kawhi. No. Anunoby was Kawhi.
Yeah,
he's in top five in defensive players in the league. Top 5 right now. By the numbers.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He surely.
Steals,
yeah, he
came out of that game 3rd in steals. So
he was pushing up. He was pushing up on our guards. And if you push up the guards and you make our offense start way up, or you don't, you stay with them, then your whole offense now breaks down because other people are overplaying in the passing lanes.
He's a good example for Miles McBride. That kind of defensive aggressiveness without really fouling, but being in a person's face up and down the floor, and then you have offensive game to add to it. When the ball comes your way, that's it.
I don't know if you mentioned it. I don't know if you mentioned it in the last game, but or the last episode, or somebody that maybe there are some games where he's gonna have to go with Grimes and McBride on those scars. Well, those scars are too fast for Rose and for Kemba.
Yeah.
They're just too fast. It's not that they can't play defense, but you can't defend what you can't catch up to. Yeah. If you play, you got to body those guys up the way they were bodying us. You got to be able to body them, man. Once they cross the 3-point line, you're in their space, and that's what has to happen.
No different than in guarding fast receivers in football. You can't let them get a couple of steps off the line
Nope.
without physically touching them, or else they'll just
Mhm.
go right by you. It's
Right.
the same thing, same idea. They come across half court. If you're not already being a pest to them, you got to start picking them up right there and touch them. You be a little bit in their space. Not, I know you can't be overly physical, but they're also taking away the refs this year. They're not calling that physical stuff because they want to get away from those guys that jumping, scoring, trying to, the offensive player going into the defensive player. So the
running
defenders
into
this
them.
year take way advantage of that. They should be jumping all over that. Like, okay, I'm gonna force this ref to call it on me. So I don't know. That's just my thinking.
And
go ahead.
Can what is wrong with? Does Mitch have like butter on the bottom of his sneakers? This guy is always on the floor.
My man was he's practicing push-ups or something.
He's on the floor. I saw a couple of plays where he get the offensive rebound and he goes back up. They foul him, but he ends up on the floor. He wasn't knocked to the floor. He got fouled on the arms and he's getting up off the floor. I don't get that. I don't understand.
There were at least 3 or 4 incidents where he was just trying to maybe block something and he just fell down.
Right.
And my problem with Mitchell was that when he got a couple of opportunities and the ball was given to him and he was right at the rim, ready to dunk, he missed them.
He missed them. Yeah.
He missed them right in there. But he was killing them on the rebounds for in the beginning of the game.
In that first quarter, yes, he was.
Yes, he was. At the end of the game, they killed us with the second shot opportunities. They killed us on offensive rebounds, especially when we went small. Because Anunoby was grabbing everything, and the other kid that they had, that long kid that they were playing.
Yeah, those guys were.
But when you're talking, you mentioned the fouls. There was a lot of contact that was not being called on the Knicks. However, at the end of the game, they committed 20 fouls, and they got called for 20, and we got called for 13. So I don't, it looked a lot different. Even though they called it the way it says here that they created 20 personal fouls, and maybe their personal fouls was not to let us run out somewhere. But when we were going to the hole, especially not Randall, but Barrett, there was a couple of times where they just stripped the ball right from around here, around his waist. Yeah. And there was a time when they just hacked him across the arm, and they were making that call. Now I understand that you don't want to do this, but that's not even his type of shot. He's going up like this, and
So and then he's hitting his free throws at maybe a 50% clip.
Who?
Mitch.
Oh, Mitch hit 100% yesterday though. He made them all.
Yeah, they only missed. But as a team, we gave away a couple. We gave away 6 or 8 points at the line again.
Right. So, we only hit 18 of 24.
Yeah. So that's again, we're in the 70s again, or whatever that ends up being. So
75.
Yeah, that's we need to be in the 90% range, especially the guys we got going to the line most of the time. They're usually pretty decent free throw shooters, So,
right.
Mitch is the only one that kind of questions it, and then sometimes Barry goes on this little streak of hitting one, missing one, hitting one, missing one. But he's even got himself a little bit better this year, But they'll figure it out ultimately. I guess we want to transition to this game tonight.
Yes,
we
sir.
got facing off against Indiana. I guess I'll go first just to throw a little bit out there. We saw them first game of the preseason. I went to that game. It was not bad. They came out, they battled with us. They had most of their team, I want to say minus Karis LeVert, I think. Tonight they won't have Brogdon, and I think there's another player, maybe Lamb, I think is the other guy might be missing from their lineup.
Really?
So, so they'll be missing their starting point guard. That doesn't mean they don't have shooting coming off because they got Karis LeVert back. We saw with Chris Duarte, that nice looking rookie that they got that the Knicks wanted, but they just didn't get a chance to go up and get him. He's got a little bit of a stroke, even though he's a rookie. He's not scared to shoot. And normally they're big guys that we're used to, Sabonis and Turner. And and they have their little team that they come. They always play physical. We know what they saw what we potentially could do, because that was the game we kind of gelled in the first game of the preseason, and we came out and we put up like 120 something, 125 or something like that. So we just need to play a little bit better lockdown defense. They only score about 111 a game, and they give up 113. So let's take advantage of the fact that they give up more points than they score and put this team behind us. So that being said, I'll come back around, but I'll bounce past it straight over. Go ahead, ESQ, take it.
All right. Well, I was beating him up on the chat, and believe it or not, it was it was our boy Delano Steele. He just said something to kind of calm me down. It was like he said, it's early. Same thing that H2O just said a couple of segments ago. It's early. We are 5-2, not 4-3, or 3-4, or what have you. However, the Elves came at the crib, which we gotta stay on them about that. We can't be losing at the crib. We just can't.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in hindsight, though, I guess we're still working on the chemistry. I'm guessing, because as you saw or pointed out, the last couple of games, RJ has been the seemingly best player for the team, and Randall is seemingly
sulking.
And sulking. I don't know if he's sulking, but he doesn't seem to be in a great mood. So stop showing off, man.
Had to bring it closer, huh? Jesus.
He had to bring his sons. So now you're not going to sit down for the rest of the show?
No, not sitting down, bro.
You can just sit down and put it in front of you.
There you go. Hilarious.
Yo, 50% off, man. 50% off, bro.
So I want to commend.
This is
I want to commend RJ for his last few games.
Man,
his last,
right. He's been the best player.
He's been our top dog, and his scoring is up. He's making better decisions. He's driving and shooting the three, but the emphasis, he's seemingly taking it to the hole first, and then he's usually open for the threes that he's taking, which is a good thing. And I've even seen him step into a three, like on transition. We're coming up, they just whip the ball over to him, and he just steps right into it. His three has become much better than it was last season, and of course the season before. So I have to give him his kudos and his props. But now we've been calling him RJ. So,
oh, he gave him the J back.
Yeah. I mean, for now.
Nicknames is
He's got his J back. All right.
We know that'll make you happy. So we'll give his J back. You got his jersey.
Yo,
when you file your taxes, you should get a nice sum back from his from his effort.
He's okay. So 3 years ago, it went Zion Williamson, John Morant, and RJ Barrett. Who would you rather have right now?
John Morant.
and who comes after that? Who comes after that?
It's close. It's close. Still between the two.
Listen, it's not even close, man.
Listen. He's putting himself back in the argument of being in the top three, because they were trying to step him out of that top three and say it was two, and then he was joining the rest of the group. But now he's played himself back into that conversation. So I'll say that. You know what I mean?
Okay, because right now, I don't think that that the other kid can play at that weight. He's always going to be injury prone.
I think he got something else going on. I think he's pulling a James Harden.
Wow.
Come in. He's going to work himself out of that situation.
You think he wants to come
to the
league? And the AD, he want to pull an AD on them, huh?
And if Randall starts going in the opposite direction of the All-Star play, then maybe they swap out next year. But that's just another conversation for another day.
Well, yes. Right now, I just want to pick up on this game, and you know what? I don't want to say this, but I am going to say it. We are 5-2. They are 2-6. That doesn't mean anything. Because, like I always say, any given Sunday, whoever comes to play, the strongest is the one. Yeah. They won their last game. We lost our last game. They're feeling good about themselves. We feel like we have to redeem ourselves. So this might be a little bit of a dog fight. I got it at a 98-94 Knicks.
98-94. All right.
98-94. This is a fight. This is a battle of attrition.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me. I just seen something over here. It says, breaking news. Noel is back. Noel is back.
All right.
So, Nerlens Noel, we need some help.
Nerlens Noel, yes. We definitely need some help.
Yes.
Because, you know, yes. we're playing Game of Thrones tonight.
What's his name?
Sabonis, yeah. Game of Sabonis.
Every time I see him, he looks like all you have to do is throw some type of fur over him and give him a spear or something. Yeah, and you can slip him right into the Game of Thrones.
Ready to be a Viking, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
And he is a problem.
The problem is the Vikings fought to the death.
Yeah.
That's it.
So he might be in a fighting mood.
Yeah. That's how he plays too. He's a very good player. He's an excellent player, I should say. That guy.
Yeah.
And then you got now, but I don't know about is Brogdon playing?
According to Brogdon's
out. He's listed as out.
He's out? Oh, good.
Out.
Good. Because he's out. LeVert is out.
No,
LeVert's back.
LeVert is back.
So it's a trade-off. Yeah, LeVert is back.
Oh,
so they got shooting guards, but no point guards. The best point guard that they have on the left there is this McConnell kid.
Oh, he's a problem.
He's a problem too.
Scrappy player. He's a little scrappy player. You know, I'm not gonna say he's not. You know, he doesn't earn his. He's kind of like Caruso. Reminds me of. You know, he just gets his.
I hate to break the news. I gotta take my wife out to her stop right now. So I'm gonna say salute to everyone, and let's go New York. Go.
What was your score?
We'll chat during the game.
98-94. Knicks.
94. All right, so I'll pick it up.
I'm really short-handing the Knicks because the second unit can get me 50 points, I think, today.
Okay.
All right.
I mean,
so, you know.
98 is 98, man. It's okay.
98 is nothing, man. 98 is nothing, man. That's 50 and 50 for each unit.
That's it.
And Randall alone, Barrett alone is going to get 28.
Oh, you got the real deep. You're giving player stats and stuff. Oh, okay.
If Randall's going to get 48, I can imagine what your son's going to get.
No. Barrett is going to get 28.
Oh, Barrett. Oh, I thought you said Randall.
Randall?
Barrett. Well, I hope you're right. I hope Barrett does get 28.
He's on his team now.
I hope so too.
You know? So I'll see you guys later. We'll talk in the chat, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Figuring it out.
Yes.
So what you're looking at? What you're looking forward to for tonight, Dream?
So back to this game. I'm looking forward to the matchups. You know me, I like watching these matchups because LeVert is back, and I'm kind of like infatuated with the kid Duarte so far in his young career. I think he reminds me of a baby Klay Thompson. Like when Klay first hit there, he just got this like confident stroke and the way he attacks the court. So it's Duarte and LeVert, and I'm glad he brought up Barrett, and I hope he's right about Barrett having a good game because he's one of my key matchup guys is Barrett and Fournier. Both those guys need to come off having a good shooting night, I feel.
Yeah.
And if they do that, then the Knicks could come out of this with a 110-102 win. And I'm expecting a better showing on defense, at least. They've seen this team before. They hadn't seen Toronto before, so they didn't know what to expect from all that scratching and clawing, and they just came to fight. Basically, I said they came to the concrete jungle and gave us some concrete humble.
They
That's
sure did.
basically, coming out of that game. Yeah, coming out of that game, we got this game on the road. This is one of 2 games we got on the road, and we know we're in a dogfight against Milwaukee, so we need to put this one in the W column. Get back in that, and then figure out what we're going to do against Milwaukee and a couple of other games. We have this next 6-game block. I figured we would break even 3-3, and I did have us losing to Toronto, so I wasn't, thrown off by what I saw yesterday. I just didn't like the fact that we're trying to implement a little bit of small ball into our offense, and they basically came with that yesterday and beat us bad with it. They didn't get going in the first half, but by the end of that second quarter, they figured it out and they ran right through us the rest of the game. And we tried to make a run at it at the end of the game, and we even tried to go back and forth with them a little bit in the third quarter, where it was like 3 for 3, 3 for 3, 3 for 3, but it didn't matter because the problem was in the end, they kept making their buckets and we stopped making our buckets. And I think we talked about that earlier, and that's what ultimately decided it for us. Plus all those steals, man. I hate the turnovers, but the fact that out of the 17 turnovers we had, 12 of those were actually just taken right out of our hand and gone back the other way. That kind of bothered me a little bit. So I want to see a little bit better ball handling. I can understand, you let points go by on defense. Don't get the ball taken out of your hands. Kemba, Rose, Quickly, any one of those guards that happened to. So we got to be a little bit tighter with that. But, like we said, we're not going to overkill on our boys. It's early in the season. We're 5-2. It's okay. Most of the other teams that were also 5-1 did lose. I think Miami was the only one that springboarded up a little bit. And they look tough, man. They look like they're for real this year. So that's fine. We said we wanted to stay with Miami and Chicago this year. Those were the teams we wanted to stay glued with. If you look at the standings, Miami, Chicago, New York, we're right there with them. So we just hang with those guys, no matter how it looks, and we stay tight with them. Go ahead.
And we have to keep up our play and hang out with those 2 teams because that the Brooklyn and Milwaukee and maybe even Philly, they're going to be doing a lot better than they are now.
They'll get back to their normal form.
You're right. So they're going to be 1, 2, and 3, possibly. No, possibly. So
they'll be fighting for those spots.
We can fight for 4 and 5. We should stay in that ballpark, fighting for the 4th or the 5th spot, with the understanding that it's going to be it can be the Heat, it can be Chicago, it can be Atlanta, and it could be us.
It could be us.
So we have to
because Atlanta's not going to go away. They're figuring it out.
But if we stick with our defense, it may turn out for us the way it did last season. Because our defense was that was our springboard. Our defense basically dictated how our offense flowed. But now this year,
it's not terribly off.
Right. Right. We're doing it the opposite.
Last year we had them at 105, and this year we're giving up 110. So it's not hard. We just need to tighten up a little bit. But, it looks worse than it actually is. The numbers say it's only 5 points difference. That's what the numbers say compared to last year. So if we just cut a little bit here, cut a little bit there, we'll be all right. And
as H2O said, and I don't know if it was you who did say that, listen, when these other guards are, just blowing by Rose and Kemba, stick the other kids in there for just a minute, like at least at the end, like say the end of, if they're hot in the second quarter, for the ending of that second quarter or the ending of the third quarter.
Exactly.
Just to give our guys some rest.
And that's where we seem to be lacking a little bit.
If you can't stay in front of them, run them into some help. But our guards, boy, they're by Kemba, and Kemba's, I love him. He's homegrown and all of that, but I think my nephew can play defense better than that guy. His defense is deplorable, man. And
it's always been
with
that
Rose. At least Rose gives you effort on defense, because you see Rose block shots. He'll get some steals or whatever. We need Kemba to pick it up a little bit. He needs to pick it up, his defensive effort. And when he does it, Listen, let McBride come in there for 3-4 minutes, and just for the offense. And then once you have like McBride in there, whatever, then let the offense run through RJ and Randall, as usual. We're not expecting offense from you. We just need you to slow down the opposing point guards who seem to be given a lane, without any type of effort to doing anything to them. We do need to be a little physical with these guards. Get a foul or two.
Yeah.
Get a foul or two.
It's not gonna hurt.
A hard foul.
Not gonna hurt.
They blow by you. Knock them down or something. And Fournier, he needs to handle a little better also, because Gary Trent was in his shirt. Gary Trent Jr. was in Fournier's shirt for a lot of that what was it? The second quarter. Man, it
yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And then they were throwing. They gave up a lot of steals, throwing these court passes.
Made him get taken out of the game.
Yeah, those court passes. Those are killing us as well. Okay, you gave your score. You said what? One. You said 110.
Too much. 110, 102.
I'm gonna go a little different. Because I think that I don't know. For some reason, I think this is gonna be a tight game, and then I think we're going to maybe pull it out at the end. So I'll give us the same margin, but I'll say 104-96. Yeah, 104-96.
104-96. All right.
Yeah.
I like it. We need to hold the team under 100 points, man. We need to start getting back a little bit. That'll help, as far as that goes. So that being said, that was our show tonight. I appreciate your time coming on. I appreciate H2O coming on earlier. It was great to hear from you guys. I think we did a good job breaking down some areas we could have improved in, and basically what happened in the last one, and how we could take advantage of this team going forward that we have tonight. We definitely should be taking out the Pacers, man. I mean, we have, I would like to think, a better team. From the game that I went to, even though it was preseason, it looked like the same Indiana squad, what they bring to the table and how they play against us. We just brought a little bit more shooting to the game, and that kind of by the end of the game ran them out of the building. It would be nice if we got a nice early lead, and just like in that preseason game, we get the young kids in there and let them get a little run too. But if that doesn't happen, at least let's get out of here with a W, because that's more important than anything. And the whole team needs development, not just the young kids. So that being said, hopefully these guys give us a better defensive effort. And as we always do about this time, once the Knicks, always
the Knicks.
Always
Salute.
the Knicks. All right. So thank you for coming out. Salute to you. Good luck to our boys. And I will be chatting with you later. Have a good one.
All right.